appreciate y'all listening, and trust me, the listening traffic is picking up. But what we need is for you to subscribe and comment, get interactive with us. You hit us up on the socials if there's any topics in particular you want us to take a look at and break down.
Heck yeah, yeah. We're gonna be a little more active on the socials. We're kind of a two-man show over here, but we're gonna start being more active. So definitely be on the lookout for some postings on our socials.
No doubt, no doubt.
I think sometimes like feeling so like robotic, like I think like the 30th, you know, like when we're getting on a bit, I've got like a routine of like how we're gonna do this, and like it just sometimes you'd like disassociate and be like, you know, like it's not like normal at all. In my head right now, I can think of like 5, 6 guys, 10 guys that I remember, and that's it. It's just, I don't know, it's just weird, isn't it? Like if I didn't have the videos, I wouldn't have known I've done 100, you know. But yeah, I think that was kind of the hard part, is like conversing with them, and like when they'd kind of be like, oh, like we've only had 2 minutes or 3 minutes and you said 5 on the message.
Did someone say that to you?
Yeah. And obviously it just makes me feel so bad.
Do you think you should feel bad about that?
I guess when you've promised people who support you, it's kind of hard to let them down.
But it's up to you, right? Like when you know.
Yeah.
Have you even?
Oh man, let's we'll cut it right there. So, so for folks out there, this is, what's this girl's name? All right, we'll just call her. Oh, her name is Lily Phillips. She's actually been trending for the last couple of days. And I know in a sea of like a lot of crazy stuff that's been happening, she actually broke through because she's an OF model. And she had intercourse with like over 100 men. And we just watched we just watched her just feel bad about her poor customer service skills. MC, thoughts?
Let's make this a little bit worse, because you said she smashed 100 dudes, but TMZ says it's 100 dudes in one day.
Oh,
so
let's. Yes, I buried the lead.
That. I mean, they're both troubling to say the least. But again, now looking at it from my perspective, nah, I'm good. I've said from the beginning, women have more sex than men. I think that they try to hide some of the body counts that they have. Like they might erase somebody that they didn't care for. They might try to change consent later. They might scratch off one because it was a woman and not a man, or they'll like skip over one because it was a one night stand. At least she's claiming it.
Yeah.
But any guy with a brain is like, I'll mess around with you for a little bit, but even that has risk.
She went with 100 guys. Like, I mean, first question, let's say I know you're married, but you just gotta give me a hypothetical. Let's say would you rather be the first? I think most guys want to be the first guy, but I mean, if somebody put a gun to your head, like you gotta be the 100 guy, would you still do it? Like,
I don't play them as Diddy games. I don't play them games. But gun to head, if you ain't number one, if you don't finish first, you finish last.
Yeah.
Because if you're not number one, you basically tasted everybody who was in there before you.
Yeah.
Everybody.
It's terrible. Also, I don't think she used any protection either. And at one point, so there's a longer interview, she actually was like telling the guy who's doing the interview, which he probably was one of the 100 guys, which is, I think is, I think he was one of the 100 guys, but he ain't gonna say it. But she was saying like, oh, my eye's irritated or something. He said, why's your eye irritated? Because all the baby formula in her eyes. Like, that's how bad it was with this chick. And
protein shake.
Yeah, watching the kids. The other crazy thing with this chick is that she has a goal to do 1,000 gentlemen callers in one day. And I think she'll get it though, as well too, because this is one of those situations where you see women just wanting to do what they want to do. And everyone else is sitting here trying to protect her and shame her, blah, blah, blah. No, she wants to do this. She's proud of doing this. Her parents are proud, or maybe they're not proud, but her parents know she's doing this. And so the question becomes like, are we at that point in society where women have definitely gone off the deep end, or have they already gone off the deep end?
This chick is 23. Did you know that?
Yeah, man, she's young. Yeah.
Oh, she's cooked, man. Like, look, let me put my simp hat on real quick because we got to acknowledge the simps because we have a simp problem with men right now.
Sure.
She's attractive enough where somebody will marry her, or at least date her seriously.
Yeah, well, I will take her.
That guy is not going to have any respect for himself. And truthfully, subconsciously, she's not going to respect him because he doesn't lay down any boundaries or stand on anything.
Mm-hmm.
Look, personally, she's in that phase right now where she's young and semi-cute. So she thinks the world is hers. Women like this tend to be entitled and think that they can just have life in these big, huge doses. But life will catch up with her. She'll get older. Her metabolism will slow down. She'll become less desirable. She'll have to lead with something besides her looks. And when this information leaks out, any guy with a brain, any high value man, any man with a brain, period, they're going to look at her and say, at best, you're going to be a side chick with me, just based on her goal right here.
I agree with you on that. I just don't have faith in a lot of men. We got some other topics that are going to be talking about. And this is just more examples of how men might be just down bad, because just to be 100 men, like, who's signing up for that? Apparently she didn't have a problem getting 100 guys in one day. And I think that's just kind of crazy though, because especially if these guys aren't using protection, this is just insane. Like, you guys are like 2-3 minutes in and you're ready like on command. Like, I'm just blown away that many guys wanted to sign up for this, wanted to be a part of this. And there's still going to be some guy out there that would be like, yep, I can change her. I don't care about her past, blah, blah, blah. And, come on, body count. This is where that body count stuff kind of come back on me, because I know I say a lot, a lot of times when it comes to body count.
Funny you said come back on me, but please continue.
Pause. But here's the thing with that though. This is somebody in the industry. This is somebody who, makes a living doing this stuff, and she's probably making a ton of money. And what I saw the most, it wasn't even from women. You would think women would call this out. Like, women don't. This is the woman these types of OnlyFans chicks are the ones messing up for all the good women. They're the ones where women don't say anything. Women aren't shaming her, trying to make her feel bad, because at some point, I mean, you can't be having just these accomplishments. These are just terrible things for society, and it just messes it up for women thinking that men are going to respect them wholeheartedly. But we're getting to a point where there may be some women dating wise, they have done OnlyFans at some point in their life.
I tried to look up the monetary value of what she just did, and I'm getting mixed numbers. I'm getting anywhere from 10,000 to 43 million. So I know she didn't make 43 million from doing this. I think 10,000 might be more reasonable, but it's going to make her look silly. You took 100 pieces of meat, and it probably wasn't that very life-changing in terms of your income. So you didn't get any benefits from it. None of these ninjas are taking care of you. You let them all hit raw. I'm going to assume that there was STD testing there. But I mean, it is OF, but that doesn't mitigate the fact that I keep telling women, and y'all really got to peep game on this. You should be a mystery to other men. That and you being feminine are going to be your two strongest traits to get a man of value to start paying attention to you. But unfortunately, a lot of feminists and a lot of these quote unquote independent women are going to see this woman and they think that she's being empowering. Yeah. Ironically, she would have been at the slut walk back in the day. Yeah. But we've since learned that Amber Rose has discontinued the slut walk and seems to be moving in a different direction.
Yeah, I think do women have a responsibility calling this type of behavior out? Because we know everyone's gonna call men out. Men are getting called out on men, women, whoever has a voice. Men are getting called out for it, but should women be calling this woman out?
The thing about the women of high moral character is they're usually the ones with the quietest voices. It, they they should call her out, but they won't. A
Yeah.
lot of people are just going to look past this. Truthfully, a lot of people that of melanoid content probably don't even know who she is. But if this was somebody that everybody knew, nah, nobody would call her out. Just a couple of men in the chat, and then those men would get shamed for being for toxic masculinity, for telling her she's wrong for sleeping with 100 men in a day.
Yeah. You know, that reminds me of old girl, the Vixen, Superhead. Yeah, I remember she didn't get called out. She was she ended up getting married, actually, twice, I want to say.
Got married and became a millionaire selling a book, telling stories.
Yeah, industry stories. So yeah, if no one's shaming back then, because that was like kind of a big topic when it dropped. But nowadays, this is just nothing new. Like 100 guys. I mean, yeah, you would think this would have kind of went mainstream, but no one's. I mean, people are talking about it though, but it's all on the dark corners of like pretty much on like Twitter and some other creators. But it's only a matter of time for people to start like, yeah, I have an OF. I have an OF. I'm like, oh man.
So check this out. We just talked about Amber Rose. There's Brittany Renner. There's many other women who have escaped this lifestyle and are talking about how trash it is and how it destroys people. But again, the ones who are talking about this are generally the ones being ignored. She's just trying to get a bag, but she's going to learn later on in life that it really wasn't worth it. You've been better off just finding a good quality guy and just getting it out the mud together with him. But
yeah,
somebody will marry her, probably that guy that was interviewing her.
Yeah.
You don't have to be ashamed of that. All right, whatever.
You know, there were some stories trending after that of men, or I don't think it was men. I think it was a woman that wrote the article about how the men took advantage of her, and she's out here crying about her poor customer service, about servicing 100 men. Like even she doesn't want to be seen as a victim or whatever the case is. Other people are going to make her into a victim, make her regret it 5-10 years down the line, and who knows what they'll try. I mean, I think she's Australian or British or something. She's not US.
She's British.
Yeah, British. So I mean, who knows what'll come down the pipeline when it comes to figuring out, like, can she remove consent, like you said earlier? That could be a thing of, like, I mean, I don't know, because over in Europe, they have some extreme woke policies. And so they probably could do something like this. I mean, it's hard to say, but in the US, we kind of have something like that where it's not removing consent, but if you say someone assaulted you 20, 30 years later, you can take them to court, as we're seeing that play out with some, notable figures.
She knows exactly what's coming down the pipeline. Protein shakes. That's her future. Hey, you made your choice.
Yeah.
Like the rest of us.
Indeed. All right. All right. We're going to go to the next topic.
Yeah. Your announcement for Athlete of the Year, like, tremendous, incredible positive feedback. That's what we've seen across the board. There's always going to be some negativity. And I feel like you have had to answer more questions than anybody about the intersectionality of race and gender and sexuality in sport, because of just who you are, and you represent the growth of this thing. And even earlier today, Megyn Kelly, she was saying that you were apologizing for your white privilege and the fact that you wanted to uplift Black female athletes and make sure that they were getting the shine, kind of like your pioneers were getting the shine that they deserved. And I just want to know how you feel or how you respond to some of those criticisms when you have to deal with something that it's really not your problem. Like, I feel like it's them looking in a mirror a little bit, but it still comes down on your shoulders.
I feel like I always have had really good perspective on everything that's kind of happened in my life, whether that's been good, whether that's been bad. And then obviously coming to the WNBA, like I've said, I feel like I've earned every single thing that's happened to me over the course of my career. But also, I grew up a fan of this league from a very young age. Like, my favorite player was Maya Moore. Like, I know what this league was about. And like I said, like, it's only been around 25 plus years. So I know there's been so many amazing Black women that have been in this league, and continuing to uplift them, I think, is very important. And that's something I'm very aware of. And like I said, like I try to just be real and authentic and, you know, share my truth. And I think that's very easy for me. Like I'm very comfortable in my own skin. And that's kind of been how it is my entire life.
Yes.
Share her truth. Okay, I'm just gonna get the elephant out the room. Caitlin Clark actually looks pretty good in this interview, this sit-down interview. Like the best she's ever looked. I mean, when people say she has pretty privilege, I'm like, ugh. And then, you know, the funny thing is when people compare her to, you know, Jim Carrey on Living Color. I forget the character he was playing, but people, I can't get that out of my head sometimes. But in this one, she definitely stepped out of her comfort zone. I mean, you can see she's trying to, like, you know, keep the girls in and everything. And which I didn't think she even had any, honestly, though, because from, you know, when you see her on the court, I guess for most of the WNBA players, they're not really, you know, chest heavy. But she's definitely making it work in that dress, though. So kudos for that. And that's probably the nicest thing I'm going to say about her after this. But go ahead.
She's an ambassador. And as an ambassador, you have to kind of be neutral about stuff like this. There's two ways you can look at this. She's paying homage to the people that built the league before her. Now, we could go back and forth on if the league has actually been built or not. But what we can't go back and forth about is there were people, your Lisa Leslie's, your Cheryl Swoops's, Don Staley's, they kind of set the foundation for that league. They passed the baton on to people like Caitlin Clark, and she ran with it. That's one way to look at it. The other way to look at it is, why did you have to say this? Did somebody tell you to say this? Were you coached to say this?
Yeah.
Because one thing I noticed about her is she never played into the race stuff. When white people tried to call her America's princess, she never did on that. When people were trying to get her and Angel Reese to bump heads and go at it and hate each other, she didn't buy into that. I don't know where this came from. Like, why the change of heart? I think there's still probably a lot of jealousy from the rest of the league for her, because she brought in new fans. A lot of people are watching the WNBA because of her. You have to admit that, and you have to deal with it. Take advantage of it. Okay, Caitlin Clark brought in some new fans. How are we going to get them interested in other stuff besides her? That should be the conversation. Sure. But they want to just keep focusing on this. We're going to lean all the way into these women and eventually the alphabet community. But they're failing to realize that they're alienating their own fans. The WNBA continuously shoots themselves in the foot, and it drives me crazy.
That's all they know how to do.
Yeah.
Did you know Caitlin Clark has a Nike shoe deal?
She does. Yeah, I knew that.
Yep. Did you do you know what that shoe looks like?
No, I haven't seen it.
Okay. When do you think that she just got into the NBA? So when do you think that shoe's coming out, or has it came out?
I'm not a sneakerhead like that, so I really couldn't answer that question.
I mean, you think it would be out by now, right?
That's a safe assumption. It should be out by now. It should be selling quite well.
Yeah, you would think it would be. Her shoe deal she's already, you know, inked it and everything, but that shoe has yet to come out. And maybe they're working on trying to design it or whatever. I don't know what they're waiting on, though, because they should have had something ready to go by now. She's already completed the first season. And so they had plenty of time to get that shoe deal taken care of before, or, you know, middle of the season. And so I think this is definitely one of those things where her handlers are telling her to bend the knee, and for her to want to, like, I get you want to play homage, blah, blah, blah. They would never ask Serena Williams to do anything like this, or the Williams sisters in general. They would never ask Simone Biles to do anything like this. They would never ask anybody, any sport where a Black woman is dominating a sport where, well, Black people in general, where they're dominating a sport that was pioneered, or at least, you know, the foundation was built by white men or white women, really, in this example. And so I think it was a grave misstep, though, because she's going to lose fans over this stuff. Like, I still didn't watch the WNBA games like that, but I only saw like stuff that was trending. And every now and then I would see the highlights and everything. And she gave and this is the thing about the woke mob. As soon as you give them what they want, they keep taking. So this is like the first step. And who knows what Caitlin Clark is going to do? I mean, right now she's straight, but that might change down the road, because that happens. Apparently, that happens a lot in the WNBA, where players get in there and they either convert or they get pushed out of the league. And then
we remember what Candace Wiggins said.
Yeah, or even, not just Candace Wiggins, but Candace Parker as well too, where she went into the league with a husband and left the league with a woman, a Russian woman. So,
man, he outkicked his coverage. I ain't usually the one to comment on stuff like that, but look, if Nike hasn't dropped her shoe, that's a big fumble, because in my opinion, Caitlin Clark will never have the type of hype that she had in her first season. She'll still have hype, but it will not compare to this season that just ended.
And part of the reason, my whole point of bringing that all up, I don't think I even decided why. The whole reason why I brought that up, because people lost their mind when she inked that shoe deal. People were like, how come these other players ain't got no shoe deals? Because nobody cares about those players. The big draw is Caitlin Clark. And they did everything in their power to make sure Caitlin Clark knew her place, and they did everything with like roughing her up. And I get it. Sometimes things are going to be rough, but I think they went a whole nother level. But the people that were backing Caitlin Clark up was her fans. I'm not even saying I'm a fan of the WNBA or anybody in particular. I'll just, like I said, I'll just watch the highlights. But the people that were defending her, she just spat on their faces. She just pretty much said like, hey, I know you guys have been defending me against the crazy lunatics, like especially when Angel Reese fans come into the conversation, because everybody thinks Caitlin Clark fans are a bunch of, right-wing extremists, blah, blah, blah. No, these people that adore Caitlin Clark, because I see their comments and everything, these are people that generally like Caitlin Clark and they support her, and they're fans of the sport. They say they watch the sport, or really they watch Caitlin Clark. But for a lot of these, not players, but not just players, but also owners, they really have fumbled this whole situation. Adam Silver, he should have stepped in. He should have gave Caitlin Clark some. I mean, for the most part, you're right. Earlier, when you said she had some media training, or not media training, but she kind of like stayed away. She was just neutral in this situation, and that's what we need to get back to with a lot of these athletes, because a lot of these athletes are just idiots. They just like to be divisive with whatever rhetoric is trending at the moment, and they really do not. They really don't have to deal with a lot of these situations, though, because they're millionaires in most cases. And so for them to think that they can come down to our level and talk, no, just shut up and dribble. And I'm including the people out there that supported Trump too. There was that football player, I forget his name, and it created like a debacle. But at this point, like, as much as I laughed at when he wore that hat and support Trump and everything, you can't have it anymore, because his was pretty tame. The rest of these people, they go extreme. They go a whole nother level, where they got Caitlin Clark denouncing her whiteness, and she has to bend the knee to. And everybody keeps saying black women. It's really the black lesbians in that. Well, it's really lesbians in that league, honestly, for the most part. Angel Reese, she's only getting the pass just because she is black, though. But again, Candace, or not Candace Parker, but who was it? Candace Wiggins, you said?
Yeah, Candace Wiggins was the one that they
she got forced out of the league. It is documented that she said there were problems with women in that league, had problems with her because she was straight. And so nobody wants to have that conversation. I ain't seen ESPN bring that up, or actually I think maybe they did bring it one time, or why she left. But I honestly, for the most part, they really haven't brought it up, and no one ever talks about it.
Hey, let me present something real quick. It's going to relate to what we're talking about right now. Let's see. All right, here we go. You see this?
Oh, I've seen that. Yep.
So this photo right here ties in, and this will be one of the very few times you'll see me go on the Roots website, because they hate black men. Mm-hmm. But this photo is symbolic of the WNBA to a degree, and I'm gonna tell you why. You have a group of women who are sitting and saying, we're going to let this mofo burn down just so we can be right.
Yep.
Instead of acknowledging that this lady is bringing you money and attention and these private jets that you wanted and these nicer hoes, you would rather just see the league crash and burn just to prove that you were right. And you're not even right.
Yeah.
Logically speaking, you need to get behind her and take advantage of her bringing all of this new views and money to the league and build off of that. But no, you'd rather just squash her down and take away everything that she's bringing just so you can be superior over her instead of looking at the greater good of what y'all truly trying to accomplish.
Yep.
That's how I look at this. That's number one. Number two, this is already kind of low key triggered a mini civil war in women's basketball. If you see what the Washington Mystics, okay, you just put her up. Yeah, the Washington Mystics owner and Caitlin Clark's college coach, they've been kind of going back and forth, taking jabs at each other about this. So it's creating another rift. And again, WNBA, why do y'all keep doing this to yourselves? Y'all just keep hurting yourselves.
Mm-hmm. Let's hear some how she feels.
Those 28 years to get to the point where we are now. And this year, something clicked with the WNBA. And it's because of the draft of the players that came in. It's just not Caitlin Clark. It's Reese. We have so much talent out there that has been unrecognized. And I don't think we can just pin it on one player.
There has been, this phrase has been couched, hasn't it? The Caitlin Clark effect. Why do you think that has been the case?
Well, I want to be very diplomatic about this. It's just the structure of the way media plays out race. I'm going to be very honest. I feel really bad because I've seen so many players of color that are equally as talented, and they never got the recognition that they should have. And I think right now, it is time for that to happen. So last night, we read Time Magazine, where Caitlin Clark was named Athlete of the Year. Why couldn't they have put the whole WNBA on that cover and said, the WNBA
Did she really just
is the League of the Year?
Oh my God. Real quick. All right. We're gonna send
I'm sorry, that's
one.
laughable.
Enemy nuke has been launched. Repeat, enemy nuke has been launched.
This is, I have never seen this type of, I can't remember, can you remember any coach or an owner, well, really owners in this situation, because she's a Mystics owner, any owner that has went after a top tier athlete in their league, like especially a Golden Goose, like other than, I mean, Dan Gilbert went after LeBron James, but that was for something different. Because he was just butthurt about, LeBron leaving. I'm gonna throw that one out. Outside of that, I ain't never seen anyone go after like a one of the best athletes, and not to mention her team greatly benefited. When Caitlin Clark played the Mystics, the Fever played the Mystics, her team had some of the highest viewership and attendance when Caitlin Clark came to town. Like, she wants to say, no one person. Look, in this case, it's just one person. And Angel Reese. Angel Reese helps a little bit, but Angel Reese jerseys ain't selling out like Caitlin Clark jerseys are.
See, I think the move would have been to put both her and Angel. Look, I've said this before. They need to do what the NBA did with Bird and Magic when they were going bankrupt and they started pushing that competition between those two. Mm-hmm. That single-handedly pulled the NBA out of bankruptcy. The WNBA, look, we're not trying to hear this, and I tell women this all the time. Nobody wants to hear this victim stuff all the time, man. Like, you're getting paid to play basketball, seasonal. You make a decent salary, more than the average person does.
Very short season.
And you have the rest of the year to kind of hustle and do other things. Like, what are we complaining about here?
Yeah.
So in the Black community, there's a concept. It's called the spook who sat by the door. Essentially, that means we get one in, they look out for everybody else, and they leave the door cracked open and let everybody else get in and get what needs to be done. I don't know why they're not applying this concept to Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
Go ahead and bring in all those fans. They could be, even if they are racist theoretically, they're still putting money in your pocket. Yeah. They're still watching the games. Are we playing checkers or chess? You got to get out your feelings and get to the bag and do things to sustain your league. Because people are noticing that y'all losing money year after year, and y'all complaining about men after men are your biggest viewing audience and the ones who subsidize your league in the first place.
Yeah.
Just keep shooting yourself in the foot, though.
Yeah, I had a crazy stat where they're always in 50 million in the hole, and because of Caitlin Clark effect this season, they're only at 40 million in the hole. Like they're still losing money. I bet some of those owners are like, no, we're expecting to lose 50 million so we can get that off on the taxes. Y'all gotta we ain't trying to make money. We are trying to lose money so we can, offset it and claim it. But you know what? This is Caitlin Clark's fault. And whoever her handler, hopefully she fires them and she turns things around. But I still see some people still supporting her. This really hasn't hit mainstream yet, though, but it's going to, because this is just step one. The next step is for Caitlin Clark to start renouncing. I mean, she's already denounced her whiteness, but she's going to have to go on some media tour telling everybody, like, you got to make sure that you represent Black women, or you make sure you love the Black women in the league. The Black women in the league aren't even in the league now. So who is she talking about? Like, who do they need to start praising? Because they're all gone for the most part. I know they ain't about to say Brittany, was it Griner? Like, I know they ain't about to talk about her. Like, there's so many women in the league and so many players going into the league, and you never hear about them ever again. I mean, because of Caitlin Clark, I found about Asia Wilson. And Asia Wilson, I think she just signed a massive contract or extension with her shoe deal.
Yep.
I don't know. I mean, maybe, yeah. Like Asia Wilson she's a good ball player and she's straight. Like, like you would think they would be uplifting her, but they're not uplifting Asia Wilson, and she's Black. The only reason they're not uplifting Asia Wilson is because she's straight. That's what it is. This isn't even about race. People want to make it about race. It's not even about race. This is about the WNBA and their rainbow community or rainbow mafia trying to like make sure they have they made Caitlin Clark know her place. And so for people thinking, or for Caitlin Clark, if she thinks this is over, it's only getting started. She might as well dye her hair pink right now.
Yeah. So do you know who the WNBA's all-time leading scorer is?
Yes, it has to. Okay, I don't.
It's not even close. It's Diana Taurasi.
I was actually thinking Diana Taurasi, but yeah.
Now let me ask you a question. Let's be men for a minute. Well, we men all the time.
Real quick, just put this out there. I only know two. Well, there's three. There's Diana Taurasi, Sue Bird, Sabrina Ibascani or whatever. But all I know about her because of the whole Kobe relationship. That's really it. And then I know that tall white chick in for the Sparks who busted out her ACL. I forget her name though, but I mean she's gorgeous. So yeah.
So there's two ways why do you think, let me ask you this question first. Why do you think a Caitlin Clark has already exceeded Diana Taurasi's marketability, and people like Angel Reese have already exceeded Diana Taurasi's marketability? Because if we're talking about the grades, she only mentioned Black women. She didn't even mention Diana Taurasi.
Yeah, I was about to say that too, because they gave Sue Bird Caitlin Clark's Olympic position. Even though, I mean, Caitlin Clark probably wouldn't have to contribute much. I mean, I know it's a lot of basketball, but I mean, it would have been great for her to go to Olympics. But they wanted to give Dinosaur Sue Bird. Oh, no, was it Sue Bird? Am I wrong on that?
I think you're right.
Okay, if I'm wrong, chat, correct me, whatever. The point is, they gave her that spot when they should have gave the Caitlin Clark. It should have been a marketing move. But you would think they would be uplifting, some of their white players. But, as the Sheila Johnson said, she's only focusing on the Black man, which, do you know how Sheila Johnson got her money?
Bob Johnson.
Okay, you're good there. So some people don't even know, but Bob Johnson was a big-time broadcasting media mogul, and she got her money through divorce, and she brought the Mystics team probably for like $100,000, I bet. Like this is crazy.
Most of the richest women in the world got their money because they divorced. So potty. That's how they got their wealth.
Yep. Exactly.
This is crazy. Look, WNBA and anybody who's listening to me, let me tell you something. You cannot force people to like you, to watch you, to integrate with you.
Yep.
It has to happen organically and naturally. If you force it, you're just going to create resentment, and people will get onto it and turn away. The conversation should be, let's improve our game of basketball and let's focus on the big picture, not jealousy of a rookie that came in and outshined everyone off the rip.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, this is just women being petty with each other again. That ain't nothing new under the sun.
And you know what's funny also? So even though Caitlin Clark has bent the knee, there are so many people thinking they get to have a conversation about this. What's that chick's name? Jamel Hill? Is it J-E? How do you spell her name?
Yeah, I used to rock. I used to rock with her back in the day, but I had to distance myself.
Let's see
She's
if I
she's
can find it real
dangerous
quick.
for black men.
She says something that was just so out of pocket. And it's like you don't get a chance, you don't get to talk about Caitlin Clark. Not one bit at all. Anyways, the whole point is Jamel Hill thinks this is her time to shine and jump in. And again, Caitlin Clark fans are not racist. They are not I mean, I know people will say something, you know, they might be or whatever. The point is they're not racist. None of these fans are racist because nobody likes basketball that much to be racist. Like I'm only going to watch, you know, some of the Caitlin Clark. Like you're still going to see a lot of black people, and so a lot of people have patronized that sport to, you know, help, you know, try to bring visibility. And you got people like Jamel Hill thinking that, oh yeah, now you guys are mad at her, but at the end of the day, you know, Jamel Hill ends up like being a, you know, she thinks she has room to talk in this conversation, and she really doesn't.
Nah, I'm good on Jamel. She said some things a while back about black men that had me feeling some type of way. I'm good on her, and I was really rocking with her and Michael Smith, tough on the his and her side of the game. But nah, I'm good on her.
Yeah. But yeah, just to close it out though, WNBA or whatever, you know, the ratings you guys and the exposure you had this year, yeah, that's it. It's going downhill from there.
I would like to disagree with you, but I can't. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I'll still watch.
And
I'll
I'll
watch a little bit.
and I'll close it with this again. I would rather see the WNBA. I would rather see the sport be as fascinating as was, because I saw a lot of people did enjoy watching it though, but not like this. Not this wokeism. It's got to go.
It won't, especially not with women. But I get it.
Yep. All right. Next topic.
Here we go.
Yeah, but you had no girl. So why y'all talking about me? Find something else to talk about. Talk about my girl. Go talk about your girl. Go find a girl. Go find a life. Stop worrying about what I got going on. I know what I got. I know my girl. My girl been with me for 5 years. Y'all are just not starting to talk about me and just not starting to be with me. Like, come on, man. Y'all go do something else with y'all life.
I mean, technically speaking, he's not wrong. We should stay out of their business, but I look at it like this. So I mentor 3 young men, and I intentionally took some of these clips about him, and we talked about it, because what's happening here is you got a whole bunch of older men that's trying to put him on the game. Everybody sees that this lady, she's not ready for the big time, and she doesn't look interested in him. She just doesn't.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, she doesn't. I know anything that I do, my biggest cheerleader is my wife. Every award that I've won, every accomplishment and milestone that I've reached, she's been the one cheering the loudest and the hardest, followed by my mom. But I didn't see that with her. The first time you could have said, okay, maybe it was a bad day. But now we're starting to see a pattern of flags. So here's how I look at it. I'm gonna stay out their business, but we're gonna take these lessons and we're gonna teach these young men how to properly choose women, because I don't think she rocking with you like that, bro. And I think as you get more and more exposure after you winning this Heisman and you about to go to the league, y'all about to have reporters following y'all around. TMZ gonna be looking for messiness because everybody got eyes on you now. And it sounds like she can't handle it, because I've heard stories. He said in that video, if you watch the whole thing, that she's been drinking and crying herself to sleep.
Yeah, he should.
You can't handle this. You better hope like he don't get drafted by like the Jets or the Giants or any of those cities, but like aggressive people in the media, because she ain't gonna be able to handle none of this.
Oh, the media?
None.
That'll be the easy part. It's the women she's gonna have to worry about. The women are already like, what's that mean? Where dude is, you know, rubbing his hands or whatever. Like
Birdman.
Yeah, the women, they coming after Travis. They are going to be around. They're going to be surrounding Travis. She got irate over the cheerleaders, and I know we're going to review her response to some of this craziness now that she's had some time to get her thoughts together and tell the complete story. But she ain't gonna be able to handle this. And if we're being honest, Travis, he can't handle it. He can't handle it either, because a lot of it's more detrimental for men if they can't handle it, because they can crash out, get kicked off the team, whatever. But it's also as equally dangerous if you have someone who's supposed to be your girlfriend, who's supposed to be, your plus one, who is your, she says partner a lot. I'm not going to say that. Just say your husband. Like she has she thinks she's this type. They have this type of relationship. Y'all were the ones putting that information out on the internet, and you were the ones, regardless of how you felt or what was, maybe things were misinterpreted or misconstrued. Everybody looked at your body language. That is not how people were, really seeing that situation. And now he has to get on the internet and tell everybody to, stop bullying my girl, blah, blah, blah. I think they want to go after other creators that have, they said some egregious things. I'm not going to, get in some of the stuff that they said she's alleged to have done. But at the end of the day, they put that information out there, and you can't fight the internet. So you either got to disconnect, or, you just got to take these punches. And clearly they cannot handle it. And honestly, what I think they need to have is some additional PR training, because some of the things that she was seen doing, it's never been caught on camera. It should not have been caught on camera ever. And maybe she will get it together, but right now it's not there.
Man, they're engaged. He's already said they're getting married after he is drafted. And I believe there were rumblings that there will be no prenup. Good luck, dude. But here's what I will tell you. I'm a opine on this as a married individual. The minute you start explaining your relationship to complete strangers on social media, you lost, bro.
Yes.
Y'all both lost. That's number one. Number two, I'm gonna wait until we play the second video before I go down that road. But I may or may not be familiar with the few people that play on that team with him. And from all accounts that I've heard, he's a nice guy. He's one of those guys that would rather just chill at the crib, turn on the Xbox, PS5. He's not really about that nightlife. He just like to chill and just keep to himself. And as a former member of the nice guy delegation, I will tell you that y'all got to work extra hard to protect yourselves, because a lot of women see that nice guy stuff and all they see is their next smart trick target. And you gotta protect yourself even harder than the average guy does. You just do. I hope the best for him, but this don't look good.
Yeah, and he's already in a tricky spot now, though, because now that he's come out and trying to clap back at everybody and telling everyone that he's going to be the one, or that you guy, he can't even come out and say no, we didn't get married, or I didn't want to do the prenup. He can't even say any of that stuff now, though, because he'll have to admit that the media, the people that were not the media, but the creators or people they were listening to, that they were right. And she was, I'm not gonna say she's for the streets, but if she does some things that get herself in trouble, then everybody's gonna be saying that.
I don't know if she's for the streets or not, but I know she appears to not be interested in anything that he has going on. And this is, let's be honest, he's the prize in that relationship. And I know women hate hearing that, but generally speaking, if you have a good man who stands on something, he's the prize, because we're much more rare. You need to hear that. That's just what it is.
Well, this is the other thing too that Travis needs to be aware of as well too. It's not just Travis has to worry about women coming after him. He has to worry about players coming after, people on his team coming after his chick, though, because you're right. She can't get another him, but she can probably get someone close to him. And that's probably going to be someone on the team, though. How many times have we seen players, situations get blown up because somebody was, checking up on a girl? I would imagine that was the Russell Wilson situation when he was in Seattle, and old boy got shipped out because and he got shipped out and he divorced his chick. That stuff happens more often than you think, and you got players that will dirty mac you, so they ain't worried. I mean, and he's a nice guy. Man, I would think Sanders would have been trying to coach him up, or at least telling him, giving him the game on what things are going to look like. And maybe he is behind the scenes. I don't know. We don't know. But I hope somebody does get to him and try to tell them. But other than that, yeah, you gotta crash out. We ain't in the business of trying to like save men that don't want to listen. Like we give out the message and we apply it to certain situations. But if he don't want to listen and he's committed to marrying her, so be it.
Yeah, as we get our social media engagement up, I'm gonna start doing stuff like this more often. But on my personal Facebook page, and I talked about this today, like a year and a half ago, I posted a poll and I asked men to take it. I think about 84 men took the poll. And the
Mhm.
question was, what did your mother teach you about dealing with ill-intentioned, low morality women
Oh
with
man, I'm
bad
glad you said
intentions
that.
for you? And an overwhelming number of the men said nothing. My mother taught me absolutely nothing about how to deal with women like that.
Yeah,
And I was intentional in making that statement. I put it on the moms because don't nobody understand women like another woman.
yeah.
Like that's the mom's responsibility to train her son up for stuff like that. But a lot of them are too busy making them son husbands and completely ruining them for any type of relationship anyway. Or they're too busy going to work, working 2, 3 jobs, and they spending no time with him, uploading some gaming to him. Now I did look up to see if he has an active father. I did see he gave his father a shout. He is a junior. He gave his dad a shout out
Yeah.
during his Heisman Trophy speech, but his dad wasn't there at the same time. So
Yeah.
I
Wasn't
don't
the
know what's
stepdad
up with
there?
that, but I don't know. But I just, when I look at men, the first thing I ask myself, young men in particular, is who's mentoring him and who's he learning from? Because that's the big thing that seems to be missing for us. I mean, and this perfect example right here, how that could manifest if you don't
Well,
have the proper mentorship.
where her parents at? Like, at the very least, where's her mom at? Because when it comes to situations like this, your mom should be like, look, girl, do not mess this up. Here's how you need to handle yourself. Here's how you handle these situations. Like, we don't have women training women up anymore. It's like kind of like do whatever you want to do. And I'm sorry to say it, but I have yet to see like, I understand why they say they want someone that's trained because I mean when you get to that professional level, you want someone that's kind of been trained because honestly, who she might turn into? A Brittany Mahomes. And
Oh
Brittany
Lord,
just
yeah.
got quiet. She just became quiet because of the whole Taylor Swift thing. But I think she's gonna be the next Brittany Mahomes if this doesn't get cleared up.
And we know how people feel about Brittany Mahomes and his brother for that matter. But
Yeah,
yeah,
and you ain't seen his brother in a while. There's a reason for that.
yeah. Look, I don't know how this is gonna go, but good luck, dude. I can tell you as somebody who don't know you and as a traditional gender roles guy, this don't look good. I don't think she respects you, but
Nope. But
that's all. That's as far as I'm willing to take it. I ain't gonna troll you on social media. I'm not gonna talk about it for days. I'm just giving my opinion because that's the topic.
Yeah. And I'll say this, and before we'll watch her take on things, this is the other thing too, is that men in general, like when it comes to like this type of situation, sometimes you just gotta let men just hit their head. And for the most part, most men learn by hitting their heads. So, if that's what it takes for him to kind of wake up and maybe he will, get to a level where he can lead her because she'll say in the conversation, there's some confusion on what she thought she was supposed to do, what she's not supposed to do. On one hand, Travis has got to lead her, guide her very well because you can't leave it up to her. You leave it up to her, it's going to blow up, which has been blowing up. And so either she's got to figure something out or she's just got to because I think she said her mom was sitting down at the Heisman Trophy and she's waiting to stand up with her mom. You're an adult. You can kind of like do your own thing. You've been doing your own thing. So why are you like when the situation calls for you to be there for Travis, you're not doing your thing? Like that's why I don't understand. Like
We both played sports to some degree. If you're lined up on the opposite of him, say he's playing corner and you a wide receiver, and you know this is a sensitive spot for him, and you want to get in his head, tell me you're not going to use that to your advantage.
oh man, I didn't even think about that though. But yes, he's cooked. He's cooked. If he
Yeah.
can get this, that is now that people know that this is a weakness of his because you crashing out on the internet, man, you shouldn't be worried about us. Like them linemen or whatever he's lined up on, wherever, he has to be worried about that stuff. And I forgot who's it, Odell. Odell had that one game where someone said he might have been on the Rainbow Squad or something. I don't think he is, but somebody said that, and that dude lost his mind.
Yeah.
It was either, I think it was like a day game or a Sunday or something. He lost. He had the slamming his helmet and everything. Like the dude crashed out on national TV over someone implying that he was on a Rainbow Squad. Like, man, and I get it. People will talk, say crazy things to you, but they're saying things to get in your head so they can take you out of the game, and they lost that game.
Didn't some NBA player allegedly try to throw hands at another NBA player because he said his wife tasted like Honey Nut Cheerios? Allegedly.
I don't know who that was.
Yeah, I know who it was, but I don't want to say the names because I don't know if it's true or not.
Allegedly.
But people, you can fill in the blanks. I know who I'm talking about.
Yep.
I'm going to be addressing all.
Also, real quick, I don't know. Was she Indian or she reminds me of that Catch Me Outside girl, but that Catch Me Outside girl is like Italian. So what is this girl? Is she Indian or what is she?
I have no idea. Racially ambiguous. That's the one thing about athletes is they're gonna find the racially ambiguous people where you can't really tell what race they are. They're gonna find them every single time.
I wonder if that's why she's getting a lot of smoke, because I wonder if this was a black woman, would she be still getting that same smoke? I feel like to some degree, yes, but would it be from everybody? I don't know.
Interesting.
This stuff online, because I'm tired emotionally and mentally of seeing people try to make me out to be a person that I am not. But what's a testimony without a test of faith? So I'm going to start from the very beginning with this my type thing. I got permission from Travis to say these things.
She got permission, so she is traditional.
Yeah, okay.
Because these are previously things I didn't want online. But I'm going to tell y'all the full story just so y'all know. So Travis, when he first ever DM'd me, when we first met, I said I left him in my DM for 2 months, and people said, "Oh, she left him in his DM until she figured out who he was." That is not true at all. The real reason Travis sat in my DM for 2 months is because he DM'd me when he had a girlfriend, and her name was in his bio, so I instantly knew he had a partner. So I exited the message, and he.
All right, partner. I hate when people say partner. Like, you guys are not a law firm. He was your, he had a girlfriend, but also. It's quite convenient that she has, this type of response. And on one hand, maybe she was, covering for him. On the other hand, though, I don't think she was. I think she just came up with this convenient story.
So if she's sitting at a football game and a bunch of guys start trolling her, are they partners then, or is she gonna look at Travis and be like, handle this shit? This is what kills me about these women that say, "Oh, I want a partner." All right, go find a partner then. But just know if somebody break in the house in the middle of the night, you're just as liable to take care of it as I am. How about I hide in the closet and call the police while you go investigate then? Partner.
Yeah, save me, partner.
Yeah. Man, get out of here. Get out of here with that partner stuff.
He sat there until he was single. I don't do home wrecking. I'm not a side piece. I don't stand for any of those things. I support women, so I would never do that to another woman.
Another woman is going to take her man. You support women, you should be supporting your damn boyfriend.
If you think them gold diggers ain't got that target on his back and are calculating how much his first contract is going to be right now, lady, you are unprepared. You better get prepared.
She's lucky Brittany Renner didn't show up. She would have taken Travis. Straight up.
Oh man.
Woman, because I would never want it done to me. So I ignored him until he was single. That's the real reason he sat in my DM. Then the second thing, when I said he was.
Also, another cap situation. Guys, I know we're doing a lot of pausing and everything, but there's a lot of conversation here. But let me tell you this. So some guy hits you in your DMs and he's trying to get with you, and you see that he has a girlfriend, and you support women, blah, blah, blah. Why didn't you block him? Why did you delete the message and block him? There's a reason why she didn't. we'll see what happens in a few months. We'll see in a quarter. Guys do that all the time. She booed up now. Let me check after the season. Like, I don't understand why she's thinking that this story is helping them. It's hurting them, if anything.
As soon as she started explaining and justifying, she lost. Everything that comes out of her mouth is an L. Doesn't matter what she says.
Isn't my type. I did not mean attractiveness. I don't have a physical type, period. No two men that I previously dated look the same. My first one was a white cowboy. Second one was a Mexican soccer player. Then I dated a black man who's a SoundCloud rapper. And then
oh my God.
Warning, enemy nuke has been launched. Repeat, enemy nuke has been launched. Warning,
so these complete strangers that you don't know, you decided to disclose your body count and your preferences to them. I'm gonna give them a little bit of grace because they're young, but they're very naive. I really, they should reevaluate, maybe push back getting married. But this is like some high school type relationships. This is goofy almost.
I can just tell. Like, first of all, if that's her only body count, Cap, this is the other thing too. She said she dated a cowboy, Pele, and a SoundCloud rapper. Come on. Like, what do we? First of all, women, you have to stop doing this. Never tell the guy that you're with or tell the internet about the other guys that you have been with or types of guys. Like, that doesn't help her situation. She was okay with just stopping at or she shouldn't have said like he wasn't your type or anything. Like, she should have just left it alone, just went over it. I honestly, she probably just got a piece of paper and she's like, oh, I'm gonna talk about this, I'm gonna talk about this, I'm gonna talk about this. No, nobody wants to hear about the many men that you have been with and like, oh, I dated different types of guys. Obviously, you like all types of guys. Now Travis got to be more worried because he knows you're equal opportunity. Like, it's not just not DEI. You taking everybody.
Well, if Travis is a man of confidence, that shouldn't bother him because if I'm Travis, I'm like, look, if you want another one, go get another one. Go find you another Heisman winner that's about to get an NFL contract locked in.
Facts.
That's how confident men think. Look, I would never, ever, ever wish ill will on my marriage, but it would suck if my shit ended. But I'm also confident enough to know, give me some time to rebound, heal up, deal with it. But I'm accomplished enough and I'm confident enough that I'll be fine after a while. It'll take some time, but most people don't think like that. Their world ends when man, this is crazy.
Yeah, but this is the thing with Travis though. He crashed out on the internet in the comments trying to justify his relationship. Like, just like you said, like once you start justifying the strangers, yeah, the relationship is pretty much over, or you're gonna have to deal with this for a very long time though. So I don't think we got much of this anymore to look. Did you have anything else you want to look at on this one?
I'm gonna just end on this, fellas. Whoever you pick to be your wife, she can be your greatest strength, but she can also be your greatest weakness, depending on how she conducts herself. It's one or the other. It's not in the middle.
Yeah. And for a lot of men, sometimes you gotta go. You have to get your heart crushed. You got to be made to look stupid. It shouldn't be that way. You should have some guidance from your parents. And honestly, if his dad and he has a stepdad, I don't know if the mom was married or remarried or whatever the case is, but that's at the very least he has two men, and then he has his mom to kind of tell him, like, shepherd him away or shepherd him, towards his way. Which I don't know if the mom will really step in though, because the mom might get pushed out if she tries to get rid of her or something. So that could be a little tricky. But they should have took care of that before we got this far. But her parents, and especially her mom, she should definitely be active in her daughter's life, and she should be like telling her, like, look, this is how you act, this is how you conduct yourselves. So if they want to crash out on the internet and in the comments and try to go after everybody, be my guest though. But it's gonna be a long road. And when you get to the league, good luck with that one, because he's gonna be like, we don't have time to cover this, but she was talking about some other crazy stuff, like getting his passwords, and also he can't be in a room with a woman, or he's not supposed to be meeting with women or something. Like, there's a whole bunch of crazy stuff, a lot of high schoolist type stuff though. But good luck is all I got to say. And we will use you guys as an example for other men, how they need to, how not to crash out in front of the world.
That's what I do want to end this on. I need people to understand when we talk about stuff like this, we're not doing it from the space of celebrity gossip. We're doing it from the space of what lessons can you learn from watching other people, because that's how most men are supposed to think. They learn based off experiences, and some of those experiences include sitting back and watching what others do.
Yeah. Yep. Facts. So, all right. Next topic.
Jalen Hurts is benefiting from pretty privilege because
Oh God.
on that the press conference after the game, and he acted like he was Josh Allen. Look at this man with his Kangol, looking like Nino Brown.
New Jack City, baby. I'm my brother's keeper. Yes, I am.
We're all with $3,000 million trillion worth of diamonds on his neck, and he acted like he just went for 400 yards for 3 weeks in a row. Man, you had.
Oh man, Domonique, look, I got.
You go first. You got it.
Hey, and everybody. Well, for new people, I am the resident Eagles fan over here. Okay. And we weren't even gonna like talk about this, but I saw this trending, and I'm like, man, would a Domonique go viral with Jalen Hurts? Because if he's talking about football and Domonique, I mean, I think Domonique can be okay, but sometimes he can say some wild stuff. And this is one of those segments where he says some wild things. And they had that queued up. So he told them beforehand that he was going to say, Jalen Hurts is benefiting from pretty privilege. That has nothing to do with his game. Nothing one bit at all. Now, where Jalen Hurts messed up at, I'm sorry, not Jalen Hurts, but Domonique Foxworth, where he messed up at was adding some modifier to Jalen Hurts' play. I agree with him. Jalen Hurts, for the Eagles fans, the one thing that's been troubling for the Eagles is that when Jalen Hurts ain't passing, that's just terrible, because they go into the playoffs. If he goes into the playoffs cold, and I know he just had he had a pretty good game against I don't think it was Baltimore, but I know he just had a really good game. But this is a thing. If Jalen Hurts ain't like slinging the ball down the field, that spells disaster, because we all know Saquon Barkley is injury prone. So you got to take that pressure off. Look, I like it that Jalen or Saquon can go for 100, 200 yards or whatever. Nope, you don't need him for that, because you need him to be effective, and you need to limit him as well too, because Saquon needs to last for the whole season and into the playoffs. They're going to need Saquon. I don't know who the damn next running back on the Eagles squad that's going to be able to step up though. But it's Saquon. If he gets injured, this thing is kaput, because you got Devontae Smith and you got AJ Brown. There should be no reason. Like, let me ask you this question, because it's going to feed into this next thing. How many games do you think Jalen Hurts has had where he threw under 200 yards in passing?
You're the resident Eagles fan, so I'm sure you have that answer, but I am unsure.
Yeah, just give me a number.
So the question was, how many games do I think he's thrown less than 200?
Yeah.
And they played how many games so far?
15.
I'll say 7, 8. No, it's 8.
8. Now you're close. 6. He's had 6 games where he has, had less than 200 passing yards. I'm sorry, but that's not good enough for me. So Domonique was right to call out how everyone's forgotten his terrible games, but he didn't have to say the whole pretty privilege, and that's a little sus in my opinion. Anyways, I got another video to kind of we can figure out what's going on with Domonique Foxworth, but you can't be saying pretty privilege in this situation. To say the dude, the media has revisionist history, and they are liking the Eagle just because it's the most popular thing right now. But at the end of the day, Jalen Hurts has not been throwing over. He's had too many games where he threw under 200 yards, and going into the playoffs, that's not going to work. I've seen Jalen Hurts when he does this stuff. Like, most people, only Eagles fans know this. Go ask another Eagles fan out there what their concern is with Jalen Hurts. They're going to tell you. I know a lot of people going to be like, well, you don't have to worry about it. No. This is what happens with Jalen Hurts. If he ain't hot going into the playoffs, then the dude's going to get knocked out early.
I like that you kept this about sports for the most part. You being an Eagles fan, that makes sense. But a couple things here. I'll start by saying something kind. Domonique Foxworth, when it comes to his analysis on football, he's very knowledgeable. I mean, obviously, he played in the NFL. He was a corner or safety. I forget which one.
Yeah, and I liked him on Bomani Jones's show too.
Yeah, he always contributes to Bo's show. He used to be on a lot of shows on ESPN. He still is.
Yeah.
But one thing I noticed about him is he likes to use those terms toxic masculinity and hyper machismo. He talks about the locker room and how macho it is and how it's too masculine.
Yeah.
I've heard him say that on multiple occasions. And I'll counter that by saying there's no such thing as toxic masculinity. Every example you can give me is more than likely it's non-masculinity, not toxic masculinity. It either is there or it's not. And it's a good thing if it is and it's executed properly. That's number one. Number two, TR, have you ever called a man pretty?
Man. Do I even have a sound for this? No, I don't.
I just looked up the word in the dictionary. I just looked up the word in the dictionary, and the very first word that pops up when you look up pretty is attractive, which means you have an attraction to this person. So I say all that to say Domonique Foxworth is 2024, bro. Nobody cares if you think Jalen Hurts is attractive. Like, if that's the way you want to swing, not my cup of tea, but do you, man? I think you're married with kids, but you sitting here calling men pretty. Nah, bro, that ain't the move. You ain't gonna never hear me call another man pretty. However, you know what? I'll save it for this video.
Okay.
Now, yeah, I'll come back to that after this.
Hey, and Domonique Foxworth has his own show as well too, which I didn't know about though. But I don't know if it's still going or not. But
I don't care if anyone else in the world thinks I look nice. My daughters, they're so sweet. Wow. They tell me like, you look nice. I mean, I want to think I look nice. If Jalen Hurts happened to say
there
it,
we go.
I
was wondering, we should put a clock on how long it takes to you.
Like, because I'd be like, look at him thinking an old woman looks nice. You know what's interesting about Jalen Hurts? Okay, obviously, I'm not saying he looks old, like in a bad way, but he looks mature. He does. I don't care if anyone else in the world.
That's his wife saying that. That's his Domonique Foxworth's wife. Now, she was a little too happy talking about Jalen Hurts in that conversation. Way too happy. Like, they're I feel like they've had this conversation in that house. So I'm not going to speculate, but it sounds like that conversation has come up a couple times because it sounded like he had to hold it in. It sounded like he's. I wish I had the Stewie when he was crying in the bed, because that is definitely Domonique after that conversation.
I'm pretty sure most, if not all, black women want Jalen Hurts to some capacity.
This guy.
I mean, think about how he markets himself. His agent is black. He's always talked about that and how she helped him secure the bag. His manager is black. His whole team is all black women. These are all black women, by the way.
Yeah.
So his whole entire staff is just black women. That's it. And they see that, and they see how he's always hyping them up, giving them compliments. And of course, black women is going to rock with Jalen Hurts. I do want to go back to, so colorism is a conversation in the black community. It's usually amongst women, but I'll occasionally hear it come up with men. I don't know how valid it is when you're talking about men, though, because what I've noticed is the men who get the most play are the ones who have resources and stand on masculinity and confidence. Maybe when we were younger, but it seems to me like Domonique might be fantasizing a little bit. Maybe him and his wife is trying to, you know what, I ain't even about to go there. I was about to say something real wild, real wild, but no, bro, you ain't gonna hear me call another man pretty. But do you, man? It's 2024.
And so when you do stuff like this is what they do. They look for this video because this was trending when he made that comment. And it's like, why are you saying stuff like this? Why are you saying pretty privilege? Here's the thing too. He is talking about another black man and trying to, find some way to. I know he's trying to be critical, but he went the route of saying pretty privilege. I ain't never heard anyone say that about another black man. No, really, no man in general, and a black man. Like, and Jalen Hurts, I mean, brown skin, light skin. I mean, I guess some people are gonna, have a different conversation there. But at the end of the day, though, you can't be calling black men pretty. He came to calling men pretty in general. And then for Jalen Hurts, I don't think any of the white comment or whoever's up there, I don't think they would have even mentioned Jalen Hurts like going pretty privileged, because if Domonique said it, this went a little viral. I can only imagine if they said it. And so, there might be some animosity there, honestly. And you calling somebody with pretty privilege, but he used it way too loosely in this situation, though, and it kind of exposed him and his wife, though, because I'm not saying Jalen, I mean Dominique, if he has any issues with them like directly, but it seemed like his wife is a really, really big fan of Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, that was interesting to see.
Yeah.
Look, better his marriage than mine.
Hey, the funny thing about that, though, and we'll wrap up or we'll end with this, though. You've got it, like somebody that's married, you got to be looking like, man, I'm just a regular guy, and my marriage is like one of the best marriages out there. And some of these guys, they be having their girlfriends or their wives just embarrass them in 4K, like on a weekly or every day, every month.
When I talk to women, the number one thing I tell them is, when you're dealing with men, we value respect more than we do love. I mean, obviously we want you to love us, but start with respect. Start there and then build out to everything else. We don't interpret love the same way you do. We want respect, cheeks, cook us something to eat. I think, as Kevin Samuels used to say, what did he say? He used to say the FBI and the CIA. Which one was the one for women? I think it was FBI.
FBI, yeah.
Feminine, beautiful, and inspiring. Look at stuff like that. I think CIA was for the fellas, but yeah.
Well, that wraps up the episode. So hope you guys enjoy it, and we'll catch you next time. Peace.